Hey guys, welcome to Ham Radio with K0PIR and my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing how I have WSJT-X combined with Ham Radio Deluxe. And WSJT-X will log right into Ham Radio Deluxe. I'm not using JT Alert in this video. But the unique thing is, maybe that you haven't seen, is using two cables. And I'm using a USB cable for rig control in Ham Radio Deluxe, and I'm using a CIV cable for rig control with WSJT-X. So the USB cable is just like a printer cable. It has a USB-A on one end and a USB-B on the other end. This is a CIV cable, and it has a USB-A on one end and then a 3.5mm plug on the other end. And this plugs into the remote jack on the back of the Icom radios. So I'll show you how I have it connected, how it's hooked up, and you'll see some advantages. One advantage over using Ham Radio Deluxe as the rig in WSJT-X is I don't have to watch my mode so much. USB-D-D, I don't have to watch that so much, because WSJT-X takes care of the mode control. There's a couple other advantages, and I'll show that to you in the video. Hey, if you haven't already, click on that subscribe button below. And if you want to be notified when I put out a new video, ring that bell. Okay, as I said, there's multiple ways to integrate WSJT-X into HRD or Ham Radio Deluxe. And right now I've got HRD Logbook open. I have the rig control open. I have Digital Master 780 open. Let me show you the rig control here is open. And then of course I have WSJT-X open. And WSJT-X is controlling the radio, while at the same time HRD rig control is controlling the radio. Now you have to set up your radio in the Icom 7300 or the Icom 7610. You need to set it up to unlink from remote, and I have screen captures on my website. I'm using a USB cable, and Ham Radio Deluxe is using that. WSJT-X is using a CIV cable. So if you're not using the remote port on the back of your Icom radios, say you don't have an Icom amplifier, or you're not using that remote port for anything else, other amplifiers, then you might as well go ahead and use it for something, and rig control is a good way to use it. So WSJT-X is using the CIV cable, HRD and HRD rig control is using my USB cable. The USB cable also carries the audio. The CIV cable only carries CIV commands, rig control commands. It will change frequency, it'll change modes, it'll change filters and all that stuff, but it does not carry audio. So you have to use the USB cable if you want to carry audio. Let me take a look at HRD Logbook. I'll show you how I have QSO forwarding set up. If I go to Tools and Configure, I'm going to go down to QSO forwarding, and you'll see that I have the UDP receive checked off, fill in missing fields. And I'm not going to name all these. I'll put a screen capture on my website. There's going to be an article there. It's at k0pir.us. So I have QSO forwarding enabled, and what that allows me to do, when I log a contact with WSJT-X, it automatically goes into HRD Logbook. Now, a lot of guys use JT Alert, and I like JT Alert. It works fine. When I use JT Alert, I disable the QSO forwarding in HRD Logbook, and I enable the logging in JT Alert, so it goes into my HRD Logbook. Let's take a look at the, let me back up, take a look at the rig control. I'll show you. If I go to File and Connect, you'll see The USB cable is COM10, and it's at 115.2. The CIV address is 94 for the 7300. So that's how I have it connected. That's the USB cable. I go ahead and start up HRD rig control. I open my logbook, and I can also open up DM780. Then for WSJT-X, let me go to File and Settings. And of course the General tab, we have that all set up. I'm assuming you've been using WSJT-X. But for the radio tab, I'm using the Icom 7300, and my CIV cable is COM12, and the maximum baud rate is 19.2. I believe the rest of this is just default. My push to talk is CAT. This is grayed out. The mode is data packet, and the split operation, I use fake it on the 7300. I can hit test CAT, and that works. I can hit test push to talk, and that works. That doesn't put out any power. I'm going to click that. And then on the audio tab, we've got the Icom 7300. I've got mine named. It's a custom name in there. USB audio codec, and of course the rest is default. On the reporting tab, let's take a look at that. So QSO forwarding works with HRD Logbook. We need to have this enabled, this down here enabled, and just take a look at this. I'll put a screen capture on my website of this window, and that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So if I want to jump around and go back to 80 meters, I can select it from WSJT-X. It changes the mode on the radio automatically. I'm at USB-D. And if I'm over in HRD rig control and I decide I want to go back to the Breakfast Club net, all I have to do is click on the Breakfast Club net, and you can see that it changes the radio back to the Breakfast Club net frequency. If I want to go back to FT8, I can just select it from WSJT-X. If I'm working WSJT-X FT8, I don't see anything interesting, and I see something else interesting pop up in the DX cluster here. Say I'm on 40 meters and working, and I see something else pop up that I want to maybe make a contact with. Here's a guy on CW. I can just double click on it, and it will change frequency for me. Jumps over, puts it in the right mode, and I can listen. Now, of course, I have to be careful of my AGC. I have to be careful of noise blanker and noise reduction, notch, and all that. But pretty much it's set up, ready to go. It changes the mode, and yeah, I can go ahead and change the filter on the radio. But that's the way that I've been using it, and this way seems to work really well for me. I like this. 2 cables as opposed to running a virtual serial port emulator. Now on my laptop I only have one USB port, so I do use VSPE, virtual serial port emulator, and it does work. It works great. But this is an alternative. It's just another way to do it. And if you have any questions or comments, please make them below. I'll do my best to answer them. And again, on my website, www.k0pir.us, I'll have an article on this with screen captures and a little bit more detail. So thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Also tell your friends. 73 and good DX.